Hey guys, and welcome back to a new Wet Squad Armor community video. Today I will be talking about the changes that I would make in order to make the overall squad armor experience better, more accessible, and overall more fun for everyone. And some of these changes are really simple, and others are a little bit more of an overhaul and my thoughts after playing some similar games like Postscriptum or Hell Let Loose. And yeah, I just thought about them. I thought that they could be great changes that could make the squad experience a little bit better. So the first change is regarding collisions. When driving the tank, everyone knows, or in any vehicle, that it's really easy either to flip the vehicle, to crash into small objects, to get stuck into things. And a good quality of life change will be to those small objects such as bushes, rocks, logs, anything like any small bullshit that you get stuck on all the time. Just remove collisions of those. Yeah, just literally remove them. Make able if you are a tank or you're an IV or any vehicle that is actually big enough to go through them no problem, to remove the collisions. That will make such a quality of life change. All the games such as Postscriptum and Hello Luz already have it, and it's so smooth. You don't get stuck into things that often. It feels so good to drive. I mean, it's you don't have problems when driving around because the worst thing in squad when driving off road is that you get stuck everywhere and you crash everywhere, right? And that's super annoying, especially if you're in a really tree heavy area. You will get stuck more often than not, and it's really annoying. And another quality of life change will be to obviously I don't know how easy it is to implement, but would be to make the coaxial machine gun a coaxial machine gun, right? Let the coaxial work separately from the main gun, if that's possible. I know it's a postscriptum is possible, and they make that in Hell Let Loose as well, but postscriptum is using similar engine of Squad, a similar engine, so it should be possible. It just takes time to make it, and maybe you have to rewrite the entire code. I don't know how that shit works, but if it's possible, please always do it, make it happen, because that's something that would make the game 10 times better for Armor. Um, and next up, another thing that I failed playing, especially Head or Lose, I find it pretty good and pretty good change, is to disable track damage. So you will still get track damage in a way, but you won't get detract. How this works, right? When it's a wheeled vehicle on squad, if you pop all the wheels off, you don't lose the ability to move. You just move slower, right? Because you are in the wheel rims and you don't have every wheel available, so you drive slower because you have less drive, right? We can do the same thing with the tracks in track vehicles. So instead of getting detracked, which is insanely annoying playing the squad to get detracked, super common and it's super annoying. If you get track damage, you will lose drive. So you will move slower depending on the damage. As much the more damage you've got, the slower you will move. Similarly, you have engine damage and you're not fully disabled. And if fully disabled, you will go only, for example, in first gear. You will be stuck to go on first gear. You'll still move and it won't be that annoying, but you are really slow. And still you are really vulnerable. But this creates something that at least you are not fucked up, which is really annoying because it's super easy to get tracked in the squad. And that's really annoying. And I would make that the only way of getting completely disabled would be to hit the engine. Uh, yeah, I think that's 10 times better, in my opinion. I don't know about you guys, but I just feel like that is 10 times a much better thing to do. Especially if playing Armor, because you don't know how many times you get trucked in that game. It's so fucking annoying. It's oh, so bad, right? It's so bad, and yeah, it doesn't make sense to me. It gets to a point that it's ridiculous. Yeah, so I would disable that feature unless they find something better. But for now, I think that's a better choice. Playing Hell or Lose, so much better. so much better. Just quality of life change. And the last change that I would make is a little bit of an overhaul because I feel like the biggest problem in the squad isn't getting detracked, isn't getting the coaxial thing, isn't getting the stack into things. It's mainly the downtime between how much time you really use the vehicles in a game. Because if you think about it, it takes 10 minutes if you're taking a tank, imagine. It takes 10 minutes to actually take the tank because it has a delayed spawn. You have to wait 10 minutes at main, or I don't know what you're doing, but you have to wait 10 minutes. Then you take the tank to get into an engagement. You die because that's a possibility, and then you have to wait another 15 minutes. So if from a course of an hour and a 15 minutes match, which is usual length of a squad match, more or less, you are easily 50% of the time or 40% of the time not playing the game. We could say, oh, but you could go infantry. Yeah, but a 2-3 man squad isn't gonna do shit. Let's be honest, right? And yeah, it would be. I just thought about the. I don't know if you're familiar with the how Hella Loose does stuff, but they have something called like a resource type of thing, resources type of system, which I think it's brilliant and it could perfectly work in squad. So instead of having like a timer of spawning the vehicle, you would have a commander, an actual commander that can spawn different type of vehicles like a transport, like a tank, a UFV, you name it, every single vehicle. Depending on the map, you will have access to some vehicles or other vehicles, but you would do that. Also, those resources would be used for placing radios, so each radio will cost resources. Um, which is spawning vehicles, calling in commander streaks like the A-10, artillery barrage, UAV, you name it. That costs also resources, and you could include some more, like calling in a supply drop. A supply drop will be like a logi will have, for example, 1,000 build points and 1,000 supplies, or some shit like that, or 600 and 600. But it's a supply drop that comes from an airdrop. It comes through the air, and you drop into a position. Uh, but it costs significantly more than a logi, maybe double or triple the resources that a logi costs, which is expensive, but you can actually get a supply drop to that area really quickly. And obviously, if you can spawn any vehicle that you want as a commander, that means that if I want to get a vehicle, for example, I want to get a tank, I have to ask the commander to actually spawn me a tank. So that creates some kind of teamwork if you want, because if you're going to get that vehicle, if you're going to get that supply drop, if you're going to get a logi, you are forced to talk to the commander. And now we have like a commander that is actually doing a commander's work. It's commanding the team. And we could also do something that is like, depending on the faction, for example, modern faction will have it easier to get access to tanks, IFVs, all that stuff, but a regular faction, like the regular militia, maybe MEA, and obviously insurgents, will have it more difficult to get access to tanks, to IFVs, and to all that stuff. So they will be more expensive for those factions since they don't have access to those tanks, and it will create this irregular gameplay that we all love about Squad. Not only they will have the worst tanks, but they will cost more. So the tanks are more valuable in the militia, and militia cannot spam tanks, right? So, which is fun. I think it will create some interesting, and it will create this scenario where people don't have to wait too much to get a tank. They go right away after dying, maybe waiting. They can wait 30 seconds and they can get another tank back, which is fine and keeps the flow of the game, and people are actively playing all the time. And it also encourages team play, which is great because just the fact that you have to ask someone else to spawn you a vehicle, it's great, and the guy who's commanding has a greater responsibility in the game and a greater weight on how the outcome of the game is going to be. If he's really good, maybe he can turn the balance of the game. If it's really bad, maybe he can make the team worse, which is something great. So yeah, that was it, guys. I don't know what you think about this idea. I think it could work great in squad and will actually reduce this damn downtime that you have well playing armor vehicles. Obviously, with this system, you'll have to create dedicated armor squads. So there will be a filter for armor only players, like armor squads, and another filter for infantry squads. You have to decide where you want to join. If you join armor squads, you can only take armor vehicles, and you will have only the crewman and the lead crewman role. You could also do the same one with pilots. So you have one for only pilots. Obviously, this would be restricted number of squads. You cannot create like 7 squads for I don't know how many armor squads you want to create, but it will have a limit. I don't know, 5, 6, 4, depending on the map and the layer, obviously. But yeah, this could create a great different gameplay, and yeah, I don't know what you think about it. So this was it, guys. Give me your opinions down below.